In May 1945, a Nazi U-boat vanished beneath the waves of the North Sea, carrying 58 souls and a mission so secret that even today, historians can only speculate. For 73 years, U-3523 lay undiscovered on the seabed. The commonly accepted story was that she was fleeing to safety as the Reich collapsed. But new deep-sea scans revealed something far more disturbing. What they found inside wasn't about escape at all. It was about terror. Nazi Germany's Wunderwaffe program, their so-called wonder weapons, represented humanity's darkest marriage of science and warfare. By 1943, German scientists had stockpiled 12,500 tons of nerve agents, tabun, sarin, and soman. These chemicals could kill in 20 minutes, 10 times faster than the mustard gas of World War I. They loaded 500,000 bombs with these agents. They built factories using concentration camp prisoners as test subjects, 20 of whom died in agony during experiments. Yet Hitler never used them on the battlefield. The question that haunted researchers for decades was simple: why? And more terrifying, where did all those weapons go when the Reich fell? The discovery of advanced Type 21 U-boats wasn't just about finding lost submarines. It was about uncovering what these vessels were designed to transport in those final, desperate days. What they carried, who they were protecting, and what secrets died with their crews. Type 21 U-boats represented Nazi Germany's most advanced submarine technology. These Elektroboot were the first submarines designed to operate completely submerged for days at a time. 118 were built in the final years of the war, but only 4 were ever completed. U-3523 departed Denmark on May 6, 1945, just days after German forces surrendered. In 2018, surveyors from the Sea War Museum Jutland deployed advanced side scans, sonar across the Skagerrak Strait between Denmark and Norway. The sonar revealed a distinctive Type 21 profile 10 nautical miles north of Skagen, Denmark's northernmost city. The bow had stabbed into the seafloor at a 45-degree angle, the stern floating 65 feet above the seabed, like a monument to the men who died inside. ROV footage showed the hull remarkably intact despite 73 years underwater. All 58 crew members were still entombed inside. Here's where the story takes a turn. U-3523's advanced battery system made her the perfect escape vessel. She could remain submerged for weeks if necessary. Conspiracy theories had swirled for decades that these Type 21 boats were ferrying high-ranking Nazis and looted gold to South America. U-977 and U-530 had both reached Argentina, though their crews destroyed all identification and logbooks. But the real kicker is what researchers discovered when they cross-referenced U-3523's departure with declassified Nazi military records. She wasn't fleeing at all. She was on a mission. In March 2003, Norwegian Navy minesweeper KNM Tyr discovered another U-boat wreck 2 nautical miles west of Fedje Island. U-864 lay in 2 major sections at 150 meters depth. The center section was completely missing, blown apart by a British submarine in February 1945. Local fishermen had reported something strange. Their catch showed signs of severe contamination. Norwegian authorities deployed remotely operated vehicles equipped with radiation sensors and chemical analysis equipment. What they found left researchers speechless. 67 short tons of metallic mercury packed in 1,857 steel flasks. The original 5 millimeter thick steel walls had corroded to just 1 millimeter in places. Mercury was seeping into the North Sea at 4 kilograms per year. Cod, cusk, and edible crab in the area showed lethal levels of contamination. And get this, technical documents recovered from the wreck revealed U-864 was on Operation Caesar, a mission to transport military equipment to Japan. The Mercury was essential for manufacturing explosives, particularly primers. Engineers from Messerschmitt were aboard. So were Japanese torpedo and fuel experts. The cargo manifest listed parts and engineering drawings for German jet fighter aircraft. Bottom line, Nazi Germany was attempting to share its most advanced weapons technology with Japan, even as the Reich collapsed. U-864 was essentially a floating technology transfer, carrying not just materials, but the human expertise to weaponize them. The wreck remains too dangerous to salvage. Live torpedoes still rest in the debris field. In 2024, authorities decided to retrieve accessible Mercury containers in 2026, then entomb the rest under 12 meters of sand and concrete. U-864 will become a toxic monument sealed forever. When U-234 surrendered to the USS Sutton on May 14, 1945, she carried high-ranking German passengers that made international headlines. But American authorities immediately classified everything about the vessel. The cargo manifest remained secret for decades. Declassified documents finally revealed what U-234 was carrying: 560 kilograms of uranium oxide separated into 10 containers made of lead and lined with gold. Naval intelligence traced the uranium to an unspecified destination in late June 1945. The destination was almost certainly Los Alamos. Japan had requested the uranium officially for research into chemical catalysts for aviation fuel production, but Japan also had a small nuclear weapons program, though they lacked facilities to weaponize fissile material. What makes this particularly chilling is the timing. U-234 surrendered just weeks before the atomic bombs fell on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If U-234 had reached its destination, if Japan had acquired even crude nuclear capabilities, the Pacific War's conclusion might have been catastrophically different. The submarine's surrender wasn't just a German defeat, it was an inadvertent contribution to the weapon that would end the war. When Allied forces overran Nazi Germany in 1945, they discovered something that terrified military intelligence more than any other German weapon: factories capable of producing nerve agents. The Nazis had developed Tabun in 1937, Sarin in 1938, and Soman in 1944. By mid-1943, they had manufactured 12,500 tons of Tabun alone. They had loaded these chemicals into 500,000 bombs. Yet Hitler never used them. British and American forces raced the Soviets to Nazi chemical weapons facilities. At the Spandau Citadel in Berlin, they found the gas protection laboratory where nerve agents were first militarized. At Falkenhagen, 70 kilometers outside Berlin, they discovered an enormous sarin production facility. But the real horror was at Dyhernfurth in present-day Poland, where the Nazis had built their primary Tabun manufacturing plant using concentration camp labor. Soviet forces reached Dyhernfurth first in February 1945. What they found was systematic, industrialized terror. The Nazis had used 20 concentration camp prisoners as test subjects for nerve agent experiments. 25% died in agony, their bodies convulsing as the chemicals destroyed their nervous systems. Hundreds more prisoners were forced to travel alongside train shipments of nerve agents, serving as human canaries to detect leaks. When the Red Army approached, the Nazis evacuated these prisoners on a death march to Mauthausen. 2/3 died from exposure. The Gestapo tracked down the survivors and murdered them to eliminate witnesses. The Luftwaffe attempted to destroy the Dyhernfurth factory from the air to prevent Soviet capture. They failed. The Soviets dismantled the entire facility and transported it to the USSR. The British discovered 14,000 tons of tabun-filled ordnance in North Wales. Under Operation Sandcastle in 1954, they loaded 3 ships with these munitions and sank them northwest of Ireland. The Nerve Agent program revealed Nazi Germany's willingness to use concentration camp prisoners not just for labor, but for lethal human experimentation. Tabun could kill in 20 minutes. Sarin was 10 times more lethal. If Hitler had deployed these weapons on D-Day, the Normandy invasion might have failed entirely. The only thing that stopped him was fear of Allied retaliation and a crucial intelligence deception. Otto Ambros convinced Hitler that the Allies also possessed nerve agents in equal quantities. They didn't. Nazi Germany possessed the means to kill millions. The discovery of these programs after the war sparked the immediate development of chemical weapons by both the United States and Soviet Union, launching the Cold War arms race in a terrifying new direction. The most shocking revelation ties everything together. When researchers analyzed the routes and timing of U-boat departures in May 1945, they discovered something remarkable. Multiple Type 21 submarines left German ports in the final days, all heavily loaded, all with restricted crews, all bound for undisclosed locations. U-3523 wasn't an isolated case. She was part of a coordinated operation. What they were transporting wasn't just technology or uranium or mercury. They were moving the Reich's most valuable asset, knowledge. The scientists, the engineers, the technical documentation for nerve agents, jet aircraft, and nuclear research. The discovery fundamentally changes our understanding of Nazi Germany's collapse. This wasn't surrender, this was evacuation. The terror wasn't in what they used during the war. It was in what they tried to preserve for after it. And some of those submarines were never found. The wrecks of U-3523, U-864, and dozens of other Nazi submarines serve as underwater monuments to one of history's darkest chapters. Modern technology has finally allowed us to read their stories, to understand the desperate final missions that killed their crews. But the lesson isn't just historical. These discoveries reveal how close the world came to an even more catastrophic conclusion to World War II. The most dangerous weapons aren't always the ones that were used. Sometimes they're the ones that were hidden, transported, and potentially shared with allies desperate enough to use them. The seafloor holds more secrets, more U-boats that never returned, more missions we'll never fully understand. What else is out there, hidden not by the ocean's depth, but by deliberate human choice? If these discoveries shocked you as much as they did me, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep-sea mysteries. What other World War II secrets do you think are still hidden beneath the waves? Let me know in the comments.